Yes, I'm going to do some silver videos. Been getting a lot of requests for more. I have one planned for uploading tonight, possibly tomorrow morning. But I wanted to talk about something else, something that has been happening to you and to me, and we might not have been noticing. So how does a government entity get away with a crime against its people all along without turning, so that the people do not turn against that entity? How do they do it? First of all, if a government entity had something good, something to brag about, like let's just say they, I don't know, they found actual evidence against Trump, you can rest assured that they, the entities themselves, would set up a podium with microphones, then call all the news media outlets and say, okay, we have a special news release at 12 o'clock. Have all your reporters here ready to film. We have a news press release. Have them all here ready to film. They would do the bragging themselves. When they need to hide and when they need to mitigate the lie that they perpetrated on the people, they use the news media outlets to break that. And the truth is normally not just one fact. It's a bunch of points of evidence. It's a bunch of variables that culminate into the full story. So let's just say a crime against the people, this crime called, we'll call it the crime of ABC. They committed this crime and it consists of 10 variables. What they'll do is they'll release one variable at a time. They did it during the Clinton email scandal. They'll release that one variable at a time. Variable number one will come out. They'll drone it into your ears for 2, 3, 4 months until they know that your brain is liquid and mush from hearing that one. Then they'll release variable 2 of 10, then 3 of 10, then 4 of 10. All along, the news media outlets are massaging the truth, de-villainizing the truth, lessening the impact of the actual crime that really took place, justifying it. The news media outlets will use fancy wordsmithing to make it appear as though the crime really was not a crime and it was really justified. Finally, variable 9 and 10 come out. By the time 9 comes out, you're like, okay. Variable 10, 4 months later, comes out. It's the final piece of the puzzle that tells the entire truth of the entire story. You're looking at your radio in your car. You're like, I already knew that. That's what they want. I already knew that. They did it with Clinton. Now, this is not a video against Clinton, but I just want to use her as an example to solidify, to build a foundation on my thesis. During the campaign, I'm just summarizing, generalizing. I'm not going to go into exact details and exact dates and timelines. But during the, I don't know, during the campaign, news was leaked that Clinton's emails were stolen. It came out basically that Clinton was illegally crossing train tracks, don't want to get smashed, she was illegally and improperly handling classified emails and documents. She adamantly, along again, I must say, with the help of the news media outlets, before they even had a chance, 30 seconds to even research whether this was a factual statement, came out in defense of Clinton. No, it's not true. It's false allegations. The damn right, those damn conservative people, they're just liars and conspiracy theorists. So what do? 5 months of denying it. Variable 1 of 10 is dropped. Well, there might have been a personal phone she only used while traveling. But there was no classified information that ever was sent her on that phone. And variable 2 is dropped. Well, there might have been a few phones, but no classified information was ever sent to her. Then variable 3, well, there might have been one computer set up at her house. Then variable 4, well, there might have been an email server set up at her house. Variable 5, some Muslim contractors might have set up the email server. Variable, what am I up to? 6? Well, the email server might have been destroyed, and along with the phones with cameras. Finally, you get to variable 10. You're like, you're hearing that last bit of information. You're like, I already knew it. No big deal. They desensitize you into not turning against them, into not voting for another political party. They desensitize you to the fact that it was an actual treasonous act. They also did it again during the campaign. And again, this is not a Clinton bashing party here, but I want to use Clinton again. Trump comes out. Our elections are rigged, blah, 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 blah. Without doing 30 seconds of research. The news media outlets again come out to defend against the allegations. Obama comes out on the radio or the television. Oh, that's beneath us. We don't interfere with elections. This is the American stronghold. This is what separates us from all other nations, is our integrity of the elections. We would never do anything about it. That's droned into our ears for about 4 months. Then variable 1 of 10 comes out. Yeah, the Democratic National Party screwed over Bernie Sanders. Variable 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of 10, 10 of 10 comes out. The people are like, I knew it, no big deal. But they don't realize they didn't just screw over Bernie Sanders. And I was never a Bernie Sanders voter. I'm just using him now as an example. They didn't screw over Bernie Sanders. And for those Bernie Sanders people here that are listening to me right now, they didn't screw over Bernie Sanders, the Clintons. They didn't screw him over. They didn't rip him off in an election. They ripped you off. You were born, told, and preached to, educated that you have the right to pick your next president. They lied to you. That's a treasonous act. To manipulate the election in any way, in any degree, a treasonous act. In my opinion, I'm no lawyer, granted, I'm no lawyer, but they screwed over you. You were told you could make this country what you wanted by voting in the right people. They circumvented your vote. Trump gets into office immediately within a week, complains he was spied upon, eavesdropped upon, wiretapped. Again, the news media outlets, the 5th column. Look that up. The word, the 5th column. Look at the definition of the 5th column. Immediately, the news media outlets come out without doing 30 seconds of research in defense of the Clintons, in defense of the CIA and the FBI who were accused of this by the Trump campaign of eavesdropping. That's ridiculous. We would never stoop so low. Exactly what they said about rigging the elections when they screwed over Bernie Sanders. And by the way, they screwed over Bernie Sanders, somebody that was on their side. Can you imagine what they're going to do to one of their enemies like Trump? They try to screw him over, trust me. Just logic, without even evidence, logic would say they try to screw over Trump. But back to the wiretapping. Without 30 seconds of research, they come out, this is crazy, this is beneath us, our FBI has an impeccable integrity, would never do such a thing, our CIA, they're just the next thing to Jesus Christ. CIA and FBI would never do anything illegally. Never, 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 never. It's the news media outlets. Again, the fifth column. They drown that, they beat that into your brains until they're mush for about 5 or 6 months. Then all the variables of evidence start dropping one at a time. Until yesterday, 10 of 10 came out. Even, I was listening, just happened to be listening to some some liberal radio station, which I never do. Even they're admitting, yes, there was a spy in the Trump campaign. Yes, there was wiretapping. Yes, there was this. And it pissed me off, but I know a lot of people heard that yesterday, that news, who just went, I already knew it. Who denied it a year ago. No, it never happened. It never happened. Yesterday, they're like, yeah, I knew it. Because it was beat into them, little increments at a time. And that's how you get away with the crime against the peoples without them revolting. You leak little bits of the truth out, incrementally, slowly, over a long period of time. You utilize the news media outlets, the fifth column, to massage it, to demonize it, to make it appear as it was justified. Those crimes against you were justified. We have evidence. We don't have the evidence to show you right now, but you know, we got it. We're working on it. There was definitely some collusion there. 2 years have gone by, a year and a half have gone by. We got nothing to show you, but definitely got something. We're going to show it to you. Breaking news coming up, and whenever we get it. You beat it into them, release little bits of the truth at a time, until finally the people have the entire story and are not mad. That is how it is done. That is how we're finding out about how the Clintons not only screwed over Bernie Sanders, attempted to screw over Trump, and are still attempting to do so to this day. Little things have been leaked, little variables, key points of evidence, where the people just go like this. The dossier where he supposedly pissed on a bed in Russia or something. That didn't work. Bring out the porn star who freely, upon her own free will, had an affair with Trump. Bring her out. No, that didn't work. Let's bring something else out to stab Trump in the back. All along, Trump is digging up factual truth. And it's coming out, folks. We've been lied to over and over again. We were promised from grade school, from kindergarten, that we can be whomever we wanted. All we need to do is to put ourselves to the task. We can vote in. We can make this country whoever we wanted just by voting in the right people. Turns out all of it is just bullshit. They, behind the scenes, we don't even know who they are. The people who really run this country, the people in the shadows, we don't even know their faces. They pick your presidents. And if you don't pick one of the two of who they picked, one of the two that will support their needs, if you go outside their box and pick a Trump, it's unacceptable. It's not your country like you were led to believe. You are nothing but taxpayer revenue to them to support their livelihood. We are sheep. We are slaves. Slavery never ended, folks. It was perfected. Look at the line of slaves behind me. Regardless of color or nationality, we're all slaves going to work so we can pay 35% of it from our paycheck to feed the government. And then any monies we got left over from our paycheck, after they collected that 35% of taxes, has to be paid again in taxes no matter where we go. There's a tax upon anything we buy anymore. It is taxed away from us. There's taxes in every utility bill. Things that you never even heard of. Things that don't even make sense when you look at your bill. You were lied to. We were lied to. I was lied to. That's how you get away with a lie. That's how you get away with treason. A conspiracy against the people. Now, I'm not advocating, before I get those comments, anti-government. I am not an anti-government person. I believe every government needs to be honest and fight for the people, be there for the people, to support the people. But you got to understand, they say they do, but we are not people to them. There's two classes of human beings. There's the people who run the country, and then there's the slaves. They support the people.